Inbound into Creer. Creer was looking for Roberts off of that. Fall away, Jay. Got it to go! And Woods Cross wins at the horn. Davis Creer with a baseline J. And they win 69-67.
Deseret News Rewind is presented by Heidemann and Associates. Call them now for a free consultation, 801-754-4240, or go to utah.law.
Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann and Associates.
That's right, Dusty, a full-service law firm, so whatever your legal needs might be, the experts at Heidemann and Associates can take care of you. And if you tell them Deseret News Rewind sent you, they're going to give you a free consultation. Can't beat free, right? Free $99. Give them a call, 801-754-4240, or you can visit utah.law.
And icy roads, personal injury.
Yeah.
That's why it's full service.
Yep.
There's a lot more options than just a couple. Justin Heidemann and Associates help you. And also brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. More than just education. It is about education. Up to $20,000 in educational assistance. Go to nationalguard.com. And let's get to it. Our opening statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. Go to www.utah.law. And we had a good one this week. And it's been a great matchup for years.
Yeah.
Leighton and Lone Peak.
Well, the Battle of the L's, right? And I mean, Lone Peak, look, they kind of came into this tournament. They played at the Pro Look Shootout last week and had some different showings, right? This is a team that played Wasatch Academy really tight just a couple of weeks ago. Had some disappointing games. This Leighton game was really going to be a good measuring stick for them. You already know one of us thinks very highly of the Wayton Lancers, and Leighton in this ball game with Lone Peak. Look, this is a chance for Lone Peak to kind of get back on the right side of things, but this Leighton team's good. I mean, you look at what they did. How about Ethan Potter with 31? Kofed finished with 23, hit 7 threes in that ball game. But this is a Lone Peak team. I mean, Zentner had 23 points. He hit 5 threes. How about Jackson? Josh Jackson with 18 and 12. Now, not everything was roses for Leighton. They obviously lost the game, or for Lone Peak, they obviously lost the game. That's going to sting, but they lost Burton. Don't know the seriousness of that injury, but based on Twitter, which is as good news source as anywhere, right? Didn't sound real good. So that might be a real key injury for Lone Peak, but hey, this was a 92-87. These two offenses really played well. These are two teams that you should expect to see make deep runs in the state tournament. Early power battle, and win the way of the Leighton Lancers.
Coach Kelby Miller doing it again.
He's got a good team.
Doing it again.
He's got guards that can shoot. He's got a big Squire transfer from Wasatch Academy. This is a good Leighton team.
Yeah, really, really good. And all that, the pedicures from the summer are working. I know he's, been on the health kick a little bit too. But it feels like Potter and Kofed have been there for years.
Yeah, it does. They've been on a roll
they really
this
have
year too. Yeah. That really happened
like
though.
it, but it's true.
Yeah.
But we know this. Lone Peak will be back.
Yep.
Coach Ross is going to does a great job his second year. There's some things to work through, but Zentner is a good piece to be around, but Jackson's going to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's got to get it going. All right, let's go into our best of 6A.
You know, one of the matches that really kind of jumped up to me this week, and how about the Harriman Mustangs? I mean, this is a team that new coaching staff, trying to get things going there for Harriman. This is a Mountain Ridge team that I think was undefeated heading into that ball game, and Harriman goes and beats them 70-68. Big night. Burgess had 28. Peterson went 10 and 11. Case Peterson, if you know, I'm a big fan of Case. Big night for him. Merrick Sherwood had a big night for Mountain Ridge in the loss, had 20. Chase Carley had 20 as well, but they come up just a pair short against their region rival, the Harriman Mustangs.
Yeah, and a big crowd. Great job by the student section.
Yeah.
Loved seeing that. How about this one? What could be a precursor to the state championship. Fremont beats Corner Canyon at the Utah Elite 8. And given by what's here, Kip Calder had 20 points, tied Voorhees had 19. Dallin Hall not the leading scorer in a 80-65 win over Corner Canyon. Somebody picked Fremont to win the 6A state championship.
I didn't do this in our opening statement, but I could have.
But you get the Lancer going doing good things. So it's there once in a while. Gotta
we're gonna have
nice to see the other guys step up. But a big win early in the year for the Fremont Ceruleans.
Right.
Your best of 5A.
Dusty, how about Region 8? I'm telling you, this region's really good. We saw it here tonight. We were able to see Springville give Wasatch Academy everything they wanted. Finished a 10-point difference. It was closer than that. Springville's really good. Oh, by the way, it's not just Springville. How about Wasatch? This is a team that took an early season lump against Wasatch Academy, but Coach Ballstead's team, they've responded really well. They had a big win this week over Farmington. This Farmington team, they're playing really well right now, and it was a big shot by Will Harris, the game winner for Wasatch Academy, 69-67. Had Ben Sanders finish with 29 points. This Region 8, Dusty, I'm telling you, it is going to be a tight finish at the top. Provo's off to a great start. Maple Mountain is a team that's got a lot of pieces. Watch out for Region 8. They've had a strong start to the season this year.
Well, it'll be very interesting because for us, we were at this game.
Yeah.
East and Woods Cross, two teams I think will figure into that 5A.
Yep.
And 5A, we were seeing early in the year.
Yeah.
This could be one
It's
heck
going
of
to
a
be
tournament.
fun. It's going to be fun.
We'll have every game for you. But this one came down to a buzzer beater. Went to overtime. First of all, we've covered Andre Mulibea.
Yeah.
Feels like forever.
A long time.
And it has been forever.
Yeah.
Kid has slimmed down. He's worked on his shot. 34 points, including an offensive rebound late underneath the hoop. Backs into the corner, down 3. Hits the 3 to tie it with 8 seconds left. And then it was a buzzer beater for the win. It was Davis Creer with the buzzer beater for Woods Cross. But a lot of guys stepped up. Roberts played well. Howell was big in that one as well. I mean, there are a lot of guys that stepped up big for the Woods Cross Wildcats.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys that can score. A lot of guys stepped up for East, right? I mean, we talk about Mulibea, he steals the zero, but their point, Satini played really well. They had a couple other guys that hit big-time shots. It was another heavyweight fight.
5A is going to be
fun.
More and more we watch it. 5A is going to be very interesting. I think the state itself is in a great state.
It is.
And let's get to your best of the rest.
How about a young man, Dusty? You've seen him play. The Tooele Buffalo. How about Justin Rogers? The week he had this week, you know, they take care of Mountain Crest 56-39. Rogers in that game goes for 22 and 12. Meanwhile, then they have to go play Grantsville. That's a gritty Cowboy squad for Grantsville. They win that game 62-52. Rogers goes 25 and 9. This is a big. Came here to Wasatch Academy now 2 years and has had really good games. Watch out for the Tooele Buffalo. Had a strong week this week. This is going to be a team in 4A to keep an eye on. They're a fun watch.
You know, I don't love giving Emory love. Kelson still
had a good week.
I gave a great.
Yeah.
The Spartans. And what could be Coach Jeff's, I'm hearing some rumblings. Longtime coach, could be his final year, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe I'm letting some cats out of the bag. But it's Emory. I'll take lumps from Dinos, but Emory. But Coach Jeff's been terrific.
Yeah.
Multiple state championship. Out to a big start. Got a big win against Juab, 74-50 this week. They scored 90 points on Union earlier in the week as well. And it was Brax Jensen. If you live in Emory County, if you didn't know this, your last name's either Jensen or Rasmussen or Stilson. Not a Stilson now, but there is a Jensen and a Rasmussen and a Ecker as well. But big nights tonight. Brax Jensen, or that night, 24 points on that and 11 assists as well.
Yeah, he had another nice night earlier this week. Went 12-12 in their game over Mazer Prep. That's 12 points, 12 assists. So Brax Jensen, a young man to keep an eye on.
All right, let's go to the theme portion of our show. And it's early in the year. We're getting to tournaments, but just early impressions that we're seeing, because there are a lot of teams, including Skyridge. We talk about how good Springville is and how much they impressed. How about Skyridge beat them earlier this week?
Yeah, boy, you know, it's been kind of a strange start to the year, for me at least. Feels like there's a lot of teams trying to find themselves. And I mean, you talked a little bit about it, Dusty, where when you look at the state of the sport this year, there isn't that one team that's like, oh, Lone Peak's going to win it, so why are we even playing, right? You look at 6A, you look at 5A, and there's a lot of parity, and I think that's playing out in the early going. Now, I know that Davis is off to a strong start, Layton, Fremont as well. We talked about Harriman. Look, they had a nice win this week over Mountain Ridge, and then they lose to Fremont by double figures. They're down in the tournament in Provo this week, or in American Fork this week, and they've been a little hot and cold in that tournament as well. We've seen that from some of the other participants. You know, you've got teams that start really well, and then they're trying to find themselves. Jordan got off to a sluggish start, and it feels like they've been starting to find their wheels a little bit. Same thing you can talk about Skyridge. They've had some impressive games beating this Springville team, but then they've had some losses. Like, well, where did Skyridge go? So I think early on, for me, it's just teams trying to find their footing and find that consistency a little bit. I think it's going to get better, especially when we get into January, but right now it just feels like just trying to find that clicking.
Well, I think and that's one of the biggest parts. But we got a lot of big players on these teams as well. You think of, you know, at Skyridge, you expect Trevin Snowdy and you expect Duncan Reed to kind of just get things moving. Because Coach Gardner, we know he puts in a lot of offense, but been there for a long time. They're kind of figuring it out.
Well, and part of me, I think, is all right.
I say a long time. It's his third year.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, he's the only coach in program history. I mean, it's a long time. Who's next? Right? Snowdy and Reed, right? And some guys that we're used to scoring. All right. Who's next? Right? Like where's the sophomores? Where are the juniors? Who's going to be that next guy that really stands up in the state and makes his mark? You know, because you look at a lot of these teams, they've got multiple year starters that are starting to become juniors and seniors and taking the lead, and it's time for some of these, you know, underclassmen coming off the bench, or maybe you're a fourth or fifth starter, to really start, you know, helping to provide some support scoring for some of these teams. I think that's going to be one of the things. It's going to be fun to watch as region play gets going, is start to see some of these youngsters start to step in and show that, hey, you know, next 2-3 years you're going to be hearing about John Doe, right?
Yeah, well, here's an interesting team, and I don't want to just stay in 6A this whole time, but we kind of got to talk about this because I didn't. The Bingham Miners out to a 4-0 start. Coach Schroeder's down at Dixie State. New coaching staff. Same old Bingham.
It's not the same old Bingham. This Bingham team is scoring, Dusty.
They scored before.
90 points in back-to-back nights. It's been a long time since that's happened.
Not even Dubois did that. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, they are scoring. This is a free-flying, let's go and run. Let's get up and down the floor, execute offense. We're not seeing a lot of, let's run a 2-minute set, right? This is up and down the floor. It's a fun watch. Toscano off to a great year so far for Bingham. They got a number of guys who can step in and score. Some youngsters. Coach Stratman, watch out. Bingham in Region 3 looking like they're one of the early teams to beat.
For some of the teams in 5A that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you know, really interesting. I think Region 6 is going to be a blast. Brighton, they lost Chris Gobiak to transfer over to Olympus. Going to be interesting. I mean, for me, I was kind of like, who's going to be at Brighton? They're 2-1. East is 2-1. I think they're impressive. We had a chance to see them. I haven't had a chance to see a lot of these other teams so far. Olympus is a team that's lost to some 6A teams. We kind of said last week they're not going to be a team that is going to go and beat top-of-the-mountain teams in 6A. I think they're just built a little bit differently, but you know Coach Barnes is always going to have that next guy, and they've got some new additions as well trying to gel in. Farmington, I think, is a really interesting team as well. They've got some pieces that return off that team last year. But then you look at Region 7, I think this is wide open. How about a big win for Timpview at their tournament this week? This Timpview team, Santiago, off to a really good start. We talked about Coleman Ford, a guard for them as well. They got a number of guys that can dial it in and score the rock. Orem, I think Taft Mitchell, really, really solid. I love your pick of Timpanogos. I think they're a really tough team. That defense in particular is going to be good. There's a lot of teams in 5A. You mentioned how open this tournament's going to be. It is. We can talk about 2, 3, 4 teams from each region as being fun, and we'll get into them as the season kind of unfolds. The
game will go on Nipper Shooting's show on Friday night.
Yeah.
Provo is 4-0.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Been a while.
Since Provo's been a factor. Haven't won a state championship since 07.
I think they have 3 guys averaging double figures. They got a lot of balance to their game right now. The Provo Bulldogs playing. We talk Region 8. I'm telling you, watch out. You could have a state champion out of Region 8 this year.
You know, we joked about it earlier. Get yours in against Skyview. They won all those close games last week. Lost a couple of this week, Mason Fossil. But when you look at 4A, Region 9, Cedar City, Pineview, Crimson Cliffs, and Dixie, all. It feels like it's football, except for Crimson Cliffs is in the mix here.
Yeah, it's been a strong start down south, and unless you play Skyview, right?
And you lose by 1.
Yeah. You know, I think for Skyview, just go back to that, I think Mason Falls still kind of getting in basketball shape, right? They're going to learn a lot about themselves. They're at a tournament in American Fork this week, and going to be interesting to see how that team kind of folds out. They've lost some guys off of last year's team. I still think they're going to be a really tough team to beat. How about Bear River? This is a team returning a lot of shooters in 4A. If you remember, it felt like last year they had 4 guys that could really shoot the long ball. New coaching staff. So far, it's working out well for the Bears. They're 4-0. I think as they get in region play, I think that region is going to be really interesting when you look at Region 11, because that's where Skyview is. Green Canyon in there as well. They've been a little hot and cold this year, but they've had some nice games. This Region 11, I think, is going to be really fun.
Be very, very interesting. All right, let's go to the closing argument brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. Very interesting. Is it good for the state of Utah, especially in an RPI year, that there's not a dominant team?
Yes.
Because in NBA, we thought it'd be really good, and the numbers are all down and things are down, but is it better for the state? There's not a Lone Peak. There's not a team, an Olympus in 5A. They're just going to run away.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you want to define good for the state, right? I mean,
good for us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, good for us. Of course, man. We get to go and see a bunch of great games, right? It'll be interesting to see. This is a state that over the last 5-10 years has grown accustomed to having teams in conversation for top 25 ranking. You still have one, right? We're here at Wasatch Academy. But when you look at your public schools in the state, it'll be interesting to see how that affects viewerships. Now, I think it leads to a lot of fun atmospheres, right? You get a lot of even kill rivalries that I think are going to be very competitive. I mean, you think PG Lone Peak this year, that's a coin toss, right? When do you feel like in the last 4 years that game has been a coin toss?
Yeah.
I felt like walking into those, I kind of knew who was going to win those. Great games, but you kind of knew who had the better lineup and where you kind of thought that game would go. I think this year it's like, I can see that going either way. And I think that's true of a lot of rivalries and games this year. So for us, I think it's great. It'll be interesting to see if fans have that same perspective.
I completely agree, and I think here's why it's good: is that everyone's going to be in it.
Yeah.
First of all, everyone is in it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, in it is that everyone has an opportunity to get this one, because there's not, until someone separates themselves, I don't think there is that one dominant team that just goes, smacks people around the state tournament.
Yeah.
They go down early.
It's one of those where come February, you better bring your A game every night, because you might be a number 2 seed and lose in the second round.
Yeah.
Because it's that even.
Now, what do you think? Is it good that the state doesn't have that runaway team? Sure, plenty of people can hit us up. Here's a runaway. Fine, hit us up. Who do you think is the runaway? I can pick that one too. Let hear from me at DNews Rewind, at Dusty Litster, or at Dane_Stewart. Hit us up. Also, let us know what we're missing. Sure, we're missing plenty of things, but let us know on Twitter as well. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard.